Hey everyone, so I'm finally doing a bookish video. It's actually one of the most suggested topics when I asked you guys what I should make my YouTube videos about. And the topic is popular books that I did not enjoy that much. They were quite average according to me. Now I understand that's a very subjective discussion and these are the books that many people like. So no offense to anybody who likes these books. So the first book is The Night Circus. I actually used to have a physical copy of this book, but I disliked it so much that I gave it away. There are about 3 things in the book that I did not like that made me not finish the book. So the first thing was its pace. The pace was so slow. Like, damn, I have never read such a slow book. The characters, they felt so two-dimensional and it felt like they were made out of cardboard. They were that flat. Honestly, half of the time I did not even understand what was going on in that book because I was so zoned out. The story bored me out so much. Like, I have no words to explain how much I hated the pace of that book. So the second book I want to talk about is The Inheritance Games. Guys, I wanted to love this book so much, but it did not deliver. It had so much potential to be so much better than it actually was. But the author wrote such a weird and two-dimensional story. I was so disappointed in this book. Man, I've never been this disappointed by a book in my life. I just wanted it to be good because this is a book about clues and about games and about a mysterious inheritance, and these things are my jam. So my main problem with this book was the main character, Avery. She was not a very strong character and I just wanted her to have a little more personality and a little more dimension. The games that were mentioned in this book made no sense. I actually found some really big plot holes in this book as well, and I discussed them with some of my Bookstagram friends that I talked to. So as much as I hated the Inheritance Games, I still gave its sequel a chance. So when I picked up the second book in this series, I was expecting nothing, but I did want it to be at least a little better than the first book. But somehow the author made the second book even worse than the first one. The second book had some weird things that made no sense at all. So the one scene in book 2 that really gets on my nerves every time I think about it is when the main character Avery goes to a park and there's a homeless man sitting randomly on a bench. And the girl legit goes up to the old man and asks him to play chess with her. Like, how stupid is that? If I see a homeless man or if I come across a homeless man, my first instinct would be to offer that poor person some food or money or shelter. Like, I would definitely not ask that person to play chess with me. A random stranger, a random homeless man. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on in author's mind when she wrote that scene, but somehow it's really funny to me, and I know it's a random scene to hold a grudge against, but it just really angers me and makes me laugh every time I talk about it. This is just one of the many examples in the book where author wrote weird scenes out of nowhere. So yeah, Inheritance Games and the sequel. I also have a copy of sequel somewhere in my bookshelf, but I cannot find it and I'm genuinely curious where it went. Yeah, so I cannot find it. But this book and the second book in the series were not up to my expectations at all. Right, so moving on towards the third popular book that I did not enjoy is Shadow and Bone. Right, so this is a very controversial opinion, but I did not enjoy the first book in this series at all. Again, my problem was with the main character and also with the way story was executed, but mostly with the main character. Right, so main character's name is Elena, and she's the best example of damsel in distress character. She had no spine whatsoever in this book. She was manipulated by everyone that she met in this book. And I just hate when characters, especially female characters in the books, are portrayed like this. I want female characters to be strong, to be independent, but Elena was none of that. She had this good girl complex and, oh my god, I'm not special, why am I being given all these powers and why is everyone just dependent on me? And she had such a weird personality. I would call that personality of a wet blanket. I did not enjoy her character at all. The other main character, Darkling, he is a very, he made some very questionable decision and he was not a good character, but he was better than Elena in many ways. Even though he technically was a morally gray character, I wouldn't even call him morally gray because he had no redemption arc in this book. So yeah, Darkling still had more personality than Elena did. Alright, so contrary to the popular opinion, I liked the second book in the series more than the first book. The second book is in my bookshelf as well. Yeah, there it is. So A Siege of Storm, in my opinion, was much better than the first book, and I enjoyed it, honestly. Moving on towards the third book in this series is Rune and Rising, and there it is. Alright, I'm ruining my library just to show you guys the books. So yeah, Rune and Rising again was very below average for me. It was even worse than the first book. Although I did enjoy one of the characters, Mal. Mal had no personality in book 1, but he got so much better in book 3. So that was a progress that I noticed in this series. Otherwise, guys, these books are pretty average. Honestly, the other series that this author has written, Lee Bardugo is the author's name, Six of Crows, is much better than Shadow and Bone. The character dynamics, the story, everything is just top notch in that series. I think I would have liked the story so much more if Elena had a good personality. She literally depended on other people to guide her through right and wrong, and she could not make any decision by herself. Like, girl, have some spine, dude. Also, while we're at it, the love triangle was not very good in this book either. Yeah, definitely not worth the hype it gets. So I'm just going to put it back on my shelf. The last and fourth book that I want to talk about is Seven Husbands of Evelyn, and I'm going to put the title page somewhere here. So this is a book that I actually enjoyed and I suggested to many people because I think it's a book worth reading, definitely. I even gave a copy to my best friend because I wanted her to read it. I think people love this book so much because it was sad, and people have special affinity with tragic books and books that make them cry, and honestly, no judgment on basis of that. I do the same things. I get emotionally attached with the books that make me think, that make me cry. I do the same thing. But I think the writing style of this book was kind of flat and bland. Like, I wanted the writing to be more lyrical. There were just few paragraphs that truly resonated with me in this book. However, moving on from that, I still feel like it's a good book that people should read because it so incredibly encompasses the celebrity culture and how Hollywood exploits the celebrities and how it makes their life a living hell. So it just portrays the celebrity culture in a very nice way. And that is one of the reasons that I think people should read this book, because some people think of celebrities as these perfect people and gods that should be worshipped. The human side of celebrities is not shown in the way that I want it to be shown. So this book definitely delivered in that aspect. Another thing that I liked about Seven Husbands of Evelyn was that Evelyn was a very flawed character. Like, she had very little moral values and she had little to no regard for other people's lives. But the story showed her progress and her growth, and I felt like that was very well done. Usually in books, we're given these perfect characters that make no mistakes and they're flawless. And I feel like these characters are not very relatable because in real life, we make mistakes. We mess up more times than we can count. And we want characters to portray the exact same thing. We want characters to be flawed so we can relate with them. We want to see the human side of the characters. And this book really scored in that aspect. But then again, I did not fully enjoy the writing style, and I do not feel that this book is worth the hype that it gets. But it is my opinion. I know many people love this book. In fact, everybody I know on Instagram loved this book. Right, so guys, I am going to wrap this video up. I just discussed 4 books because in the past my videos have gotten out of hand and I just keep on dragging the videos and they get really long. So I just wanted to keep this one short, but I'm pretty sure this got long as well. I would know this when I edit the video. So yeah, I think that's enough for today. I actually want to discuss about more popular books that I did not enjoy that much, but maybe I'll make a part 2 for that. For now, thank you so much for listening and coming here. If you're a first timer or a newcomer, do not forget to like and subscribe. And hope to see you guys soon, and bye!